Morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everyone is having a terrific, absolutely terrific Monday morning. I will give it some time just for a second. I had this scheduled for later today because I was traveling over the weekend and we were going to our flight, got into a different city, and we were going to drive back this morning but decided to go ahead and come back last night. So I was able to get on this morning. I feel good. I feel refreshed. I'm taking this day to do some downtime and also have a little time to get on this app and do some jewelry. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I hope everyone is ready for an amazing week. It is something that we have the opportunity to live as we want to live and desire. And it's a new start. Just like we think of January as a new start, every time we start a new week, we have the opportunity and a new day. We have the opportunity to make it so much better than the day before. And I will just say that my heart was so full over the weekend. My three sons are scattered, and they are adults, and I just absolutely love going to see them. The youngest is a senior in college, and we got to go see him this weekend doing his thing, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. My anxiety was a little high because we kept having some issues traveling, but that's one of the reasons that we drove to fly out of where we did because we wanted to get a direct flight. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and get started. We should be back on our regularly scheduled program this week. So I hope that we all find you well. I did not, Friday, I did go live from the hotel. Saturday and Sunday, I did not go live. It was just a little too much going on, and I wanted to maximize that time with my kiddo. So, anyway, you have me today, and just know that I'm so excited to be back. We have welcomed a new month. It is now March. We are going to read our daily reading from the Daily Stoic. And as you recall, every single month has a focus. For January, it was clarity. January was clarity. For February, it was passions and emotions. More so having us control our passions and emotions versus allowing our passions and emotions to control us. Okay? And for March, we are entering March and our focus is awareness. Because how else can we evolve if we're not aware of ourselves? Aware of our strengths, aware of the opportunities for improvement, and aware of the journey. Just aware of the journey. So let's read today's. It is March 2nd, and the title is Accurate Self Assessment. Here's the quote for today. Above all, it is necessary for a person to have a true self estimate, for we commonly think we can do more than we really can. Let's repeat that again. Above all, it is necessary for a person to have a true self estimate, for we commonly think that we can do more than we really can. Very, very powerful. And that's a quote by Seneca. Here's the reflection from that quote today. Most people resist the idea of true self assessment. Good morning. Welcome in, friends. Welcome in. Most people resist the idea of true self assessment, probably because they fear it might mean downgrading some of their beliefs about who they are and what they're capable of. As Geo's maxim goes, It is a great feeling to see yourself as more than you are. That's worthy of saying again. It is a great feeling. I'm sorry, it is a great failing, pardon me. It is a great failing to see yourself as more than you are. How could you really be considered self aware if you refuse to consider your weaknesses? How could you really be considered self aware if you refuse to consider your weaknesses? Don't fear self assessment because you're worried you might have to admit some things about yourself. The second half of Geoff's maxim is important too. He states that it is equally damaging to value yourself at less than your true worth. It is equally damaging to value yourself at less than your true worth. It is not equally common to be surprised at how well we're able to handle a previously feared scenario. The way we're able to put aside the grief for a loved one and care for others, though we always thought we'd be wrecked if something were to happen to our parents or sibling. The way we're able to rise to the occasion in a stressful situation or a life changing opportunity. We underestimate our capabilities just as much and just as dangerously as we overestimate other abilities. Cultivate the ability to judge yourself accurately and honestly. Look inward to discern what you're capable of and what it will take to unlock your potential. To me, that is quite powerful. So, as we reflect today on our reading, we can't give ourselves more credit than credit is due, and we can't give ourselves less credit than we deserve. Very simply put. It's so easy to think that we're doing such a wonderful job at the tasks that lay ahead or the plan or vision that we've set for ourselves. But when we reflect, what can we improve on? There's always something. And it's sometimes hard. I can talk for me. It's sometimes hard for me to be truly objective with myself. I find it very easy to say why something didn't happen instead of just looking at myself and saying, what could I do differently? What could I do differently? How to identify that quickly and pivot? It's also very easy for me to not give myself enough credit in certain situations. I think that more likely than not, it is the latter. A lot of times we don't give ourselves a lot of credit. Particularly as I've gotten into the social selling arena and some other things as well, I'm quickly to say what didn't work well. And remember the other day I said we have to acknowledge the glows before the grows. Talk about what we did. Did we show up? Isn't that 80% of the battle? Did we show up? It may take us tweaking some of the things that we do and some of the strategies that we have to meet the goal that we want. But really, did we show up? Once we showed up, what is it when we look back? When we look back at our media, when we look back at our activity, what can we improve? Urge said, I definitely don't give myself enough. Bloom and I were having this conversation yesterday. Yeah, yeah. I think that is so common for us. And I think it's common for us, particularly as women, because we're so focused and we can be so focused on others that typically we don't see the good in ourselves. I can talk about me now. I can say that about me. It's a lot easier for me to say, what someone else has done versus what I've done to contribute to that, if anything, or just what I've done to contribute to the goals that I have, even if I don't meet them. And I think, goals should be bodacious. They should stretch you. And I have a goal for March, and it is a stretch goal. It is an absolutely a stretch goal. And I was talking to my husband about it yesterday when we were traveling, and I was actually afraid to set the goal. And instead of me being afraid to set the goal, I've set it. Now I just got to work to reach it. I've got to work to reach it. And sometimes it can be frustrating because things don't always go as we've planned. But what can we do every single day to work towards that goal and check off that action step? Did we show up? Were we organized? Did we commit to a certain time frame of doing something and we actually did it? Um, yes, Urge said sometimes we're more afraid of being great. I agree. I agree. Sometimes we are more afraid of being great. And I know I can say that for a very, very long time, I mean literally until probably pre-COVID, for my most of my life, I had a fear of failure. It would scare me to death to fail. And sometimes I wouldn't try as hard, or I would set my goals a little lower because I knew I could achieve them. But you fail your way to the top. And as I've matured, failure is just a thing. It's a part of life. And if you're not failing, you're not growing. We're all a work in progress. That's the only way to learn. I agree, Urge. That is the only way to learn. That is the only way to learn. And it's interesting because it's only been in certain kind of sectors or quadrants of my life. Well, but it is a good way to learn if it's not, maybe not the only way, but it is a very good way to learn. Because if we all learn from our mistakes. We all learn from our mistakes. And I think if we're not trying, we're not going to be perfect because we're all, striving for progress and not perfection. So we're not going to be perfect. So things are going to happen and we're going to make mistakes and there are going to be some failures, small and large, along the way. But I think the testament and the grit behind it is that we get up and we do it again and we don't let that stop us. We continue to move, we continue to show up, we continue to reflect, adjust, and move on. Um, and I'm talking to myself this morning because I needed to hear this morning as I've set this big goal for March. So yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. I it's definitely a work in progress, and we're all a work in progress, and we're going to do what we can. We're going to push ourselves to do more, and we're just going to keep going. My husband always says, and my mother used to say this too. My mother and father both used to say this, what's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't kill you, if it doesn't destroy you, if you're being responsible, of course, by setting those goals, what's the worst that can happen? Hey, Bloom, I didn't know you were in here, my dear. Bloom said, great message. I just caught that last minute or less. Well, we are talking about, Urge was just saying that the two of you were having a conversation. What did she say? About not giving ourselves enough credit. Today we're talking about, really giving ourselves enough credit and making sure that we're not giving ourselves too much credit. But so many times it's easy for us to really speak down upon ourselves and have negative self talk instead of giving ourselves credit for what we're doing. Did we show up? Did we show up? Was there a goal when we showed up? If we didn't meet it, what can we do objectively to go ahead, reflect, pivot, make changes, and do it again so that it's better because we're progressing. We're progressing. So I really needed to hear this today. Bloom, I share that I've set a very, for me, bodacious goal for March. So I'm working on me and I'm working on reaching it. So, and I'm going to be objective along the way. But I think the main thing of all of this is to sustain and just do it. Just do it. Just do it. We pivot when we need to, we reflect as objectively as we can, and we move forward. If there's a plan that we need to correct, we correct it. We correct it. We adjust and we move. And as we move, even if we fail, we're failing forward. We're failing forward. Failure is temporary. So we're failing forward. We learn from it and we keep it moving. Okay. I so appreciate you all this morning. I'm glad to be back in Mikasa. And I had this scheduled for later today. I just popped on earlier because we ended up driving back from where we flew in last night. So I popped up this morning ready to go. So I wanted to go ahead and get this done, start my day well, because I'm going to start working on my goal. I'm going to start working on my goal. I'm off today. So I have some time to really reflect and make some plans, some action steps along the way, and solidify the things that I need to solidify for March to happen. Urge said, "My job taught me it's okay to make a mistake. The leaders I had supported decisions I made. Do that did that trans wait a minute. Do that translated well. Okay, and that translated well to your personal life. And so that translated well to your personal life. Yes. Yes, absolutely. 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 And I should be able to say the same. I have um learned so much from constructive criticism. And now I love it because I know that I'm going to grow from it. I know that I'm going to grow from it. I still don't give myself enough credit. People say that, and I know that Urge, Bloom, I know y'all don't give yourselves enough credit either, because you're so humble and you're so, you are such outgoing people, goal-minded people, and I'm sure others that are joining are the same way. I'm just speaking of them because I know them quite personally. And I know that it's sometimes hard for us to give ourselves credit. A long time ago, I think that in many cases, not necessarily at home, but sometimes at school and other places as children, we were taught that giving ourselves proper credit was almost arrogant and cocky, and it's not. It is not. It's very needed and it's very deserved. And I think we have to unthink and unlearn those behaviors that were kind of ingrained in us by others. And like I said, not necessarily by family members, but for me, it was more teachers and external factors. We were taught that at home. Okay, Bloom said we were taught that at home. And Urge said, I love our parents dearly, but they did us a disservice in this area. Hmm. Yeah. And it could have been part of the error too. I remember, now I do remember my mother and father telling me, you can be whatever you want to be. And I do remember one time when I was in high school, the plan for me was to always go to law school after undergrad. And I only didn't go because when I was taking the LSAT, I was extremely, extremely sick. And a few months later, I found out that I was pregnant with my oldest son, Kendall. And so I decided to go the MBA and doctoral route after that. Um, and so, yeah, yep. And so, it was so interesting to me that when I was talking to my father, who was a lot older than most of my friends parents, my parents, because I was adopted. So my parents were much older. And I remember my father said, when I said, I want to go to law school and I want to be an attorney and I want my own practice. And he said, as a woman, do you think that's a good idea? And that's the only time I remember him saying that I couldn't be, well, my interpretation was I couldn't be anything that I wanted to be. Everything else was like wide open. But when it came to that, he said, kind of like, is that a woman's place? That kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, it is. And Bloom said it was part of the era. Yes. They would say, let others toot your, yes, let others toot your horn. It sounds better. That is so true. And now it's like if we don't toot our own horn, who will? Who will? Y'all, that is a word. Let's toot the horn today. Let us toot the horn. And it was an error. It was much more, especially women were much more, what is it, demure, genteel. We were in crowds a lot of the time standing and observing, and we weren't sitting at the table and making demands. We were seen very aggressive if we chose that route. Um, our parents were older too, but my dad always supported and encouraged me to do anything. Mine too, it was just that one thing that I can remember. It was that one thing. Of everything else, he was like, "Oh, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it." And anything that he could do to help me do it, he would do it. I did so many things extracurricularly, SGA, leadership things all the time, and he was all about it. But it was that one comment about the lawyer in law school that I'll never forget. So anyway, it was an error. It was what they were used to at that time. And I know that with parents, we always try to protect our children from any type of harm or malice or ill. They don't like to see us hurt. And they try to protect us in every way that they can. And that was probably their way of protecting us. With everything else that, yes, Urge said it best, probably trying to protect you from the unknown. That's exactly right. It was their way of showing protection and love. And Bloom said he couldn't see it. He could encourage you for what he couldn't see. Yep, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. And the interesting thing was that's the only thing that I mean, like, I literally had some really far out goals in life, like really far out goals. Um, And law school was the only thing that he was just like, he couldn't see that for me. It was it was really bizarre. But I will say this about my parents. They did allow me to be who I was, and they encouraged questions and they encouraged conversations and they encouraged the fact that we could sit and talk about anything no matter how uncomfortable it may be. And I even the response, I was respectful in the response with that conversation, but there was kind of I won't say a back and forth, but there was a dialogue about that because I didn't understand where that limitation could have been coming from. I can see you having lofty goals. They're lofty. They are like out in the stratosphere somewhere, but I'm gonna work to reach them this month. I'm gonna work to reach them. I am so gonna work to reach them. And Bloom said, "That's wonderful. They sound like they were phenomenal parents, especially coming from the era they did." They were. They were. And I think the thing that they wanted for me was what they didn't see themselves being able to achieve. So if there was something something big, and they always preached education. You get your education because that's the one thing that people can't take from you. And then the first thing you do after you get a real job and have a couple of coins saved is go buy a piece of land. I just remember those things. And Urge said, absolutely. So, I mean, I tell you, we do the best we can. We do the best we can, and we keep striving for better, keep striving for more. And I mean, that's all we can ask for. And always do what we can do today. Live every day as if it's our own, because tomorrow is not promised. You all will urge. I know that you will definitely know this. I didn't know this until after I landed yesterday. Um, but the mass shooting that happened in Austin was not far from my son's home, not far at all. And it's an area that he visits quite frequently. So when my husband heard that, yeah, yeah, when my husband heard that, we immediately called to make sure everything was okay. And it was, thank goodness. But I just feel so, I don't know, just kind of out of sorts, and the perspective changes because we always say this, but until something hits very close to home, do we internalize it? The next hour, the next second is not promised, the next day is not promised. So let's maximize our time. Let's maximize the opportunities that we have and make the things that we want to happen come true. Prioritize the things that we can prioritize, prioritize what's important to us. Um, Control the controllables. Oh, thank you, Bloom. Control the controllables, because all else is out of our control. Okay. And we have to take every day, every moment, and live our lives to the fullest with intention. Focus on what matters most. Thank you, Urge. Yes, absolutely. Focus on what matters most. No question, no ifs, no ands, no buts. No question about that. All right, you all. Well, I will end it with a card. This is our card for today. No one is you. No one is you, and that is your power. No one is you, and that is your power. I'm actually going to I'm going to tweak this a little bit, take a personal point of privilege and tweak this a little bit. If you don't stop calling me Reverend Dr. Watson, oh my goodness. No one is you, and that is your, I'm going to say, superpower. No one is you, and that is your superpower. So, y'all, today and this week, this will set our intention for the week. Let's discover what our superpower is if we don't already know it. And if we know it, let's put it to use. Let's use our superpower this week. Let's make sure we give ourselves enough credit. Give ourselves a pat on the back when we've worked towards and achieved whatever portion of that goal it was. We've done it. Let's give ourselves the credit for doing it. Let's also reflect and see what we could do better so we can push ourselves for the next day or the next time we have that task. As always, thank you all so much for joining me. Y'all, I'm so excited to be. I loved my weekend, but I'm so excited to be back in my house. I don't know what to do. Oh, thank you, Urge. I appreciate you all. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. And with that, of course, I say mwah, mwah, much love to each of you. Bloom said, I'm glad I was able to catch a bit. Yes, 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 yes. I'm happy you were too. Thank you so much for joining. I know it is early for you. So thank you so much for joining. And we'll raid someone. We'll see who has something going on. And if you get there, drop some elephants in the chat, please. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Monday, a productive Monday. Start the work week right, start the week right, set your intentions, and let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's see, who can we raid? Oh, let's go to Pockets and Polka Dots. Oh, I just love her voice. She's so calming to me. All right, y'all. See y'all later. Mwah, mwah. Much love. And I will talk to you all soon. See you tomorrow morning. Bye now.